On the night of Tuesday, March the 30th, 1993, something breached British airspace. Something that has not been explained till this day. Dozens of observers, including military police and police, reported a mysterious flying object unlike any aircraft they had ever seen. What or who was flying unchallenged over British airspace that fateful night? On the night of March the 30th, 1993, across southern England, reports flooded in of strange lights moving in a northeasterly course. They form the outline of a massive black triangle. The first sighting of the large UFO occurred around 8:30 on the 30th of March in Somerset. It was quickly followed by sightings in the Quantock Hills by on-duty police officers and a group of scouts. There was then sightings just before 11 p.m. north of Shrewsbury. A major UFO event was unfolding, and one of the most interesting reports that was made by the Ministry of Defence was from a witness in Rugeley, Staffordshire. He reported a UFO that he estimated at being 200 metres in diameter and triangular shaped. He and other members of the family told how they chased the object in their car and got extremely close to it, believing it had landed in a nearby field. But when they got there, a few minutes later, there was nothing to be seen. Many witnesses were reporting a triangular shaped craft or lights moving slowly and then quickly at different heights over residential and rural areas. But some of the most significant reports were from military witnesses at RAF Cosford and RAF Shropshire near Telford in Shropshire. 2 Royal Air Force police officers were on patrol outside of RAF Cosford. The patrol of the Air Force Police stopped their car, got out and looked directly overhead. They saw 2 bright white lights, but they weren't able to ascertain if they were separate objects or lights of the underneath of a much bigger craft. The strange object is completely silent at an altitude of approximately 1,000 feet and then shot away at great velocity. The 2 corporals then returned immediately to base and filled in a report. The report described 2 white lights with a faint red glow at the rear, with no engine noise being heard. The RAF police report also contained details of a number of civilian UFO sightings that had been made while in the course of making inquiries with the base and with local police. When back at the base office, they then contacted RAF Shropshire to ask if they had any operational aircraft on night exercises, but the answer came back no. They then contacted RAF Lynham in Wiltshire to check, and they were informed that there was no aircraft operating near RAF Cosford. Things were starting to get a bit strange at this point, so the police officer then made contact with RAF Bryce Norton in Oxfordshire, but they too confirmed the same. On that very same night, on the 31st of March, Stuart Allen from Telford was driving back from Wolverhampton when he witnessed the object in the night sky. We caught up with Stuart Allen for an interview, and this is what he had to say.
Well, I was driving down the M54 towards Telford at the end of March 1993. It was a short while after midnight. I offered in this journey while I was travelling to see a girl from Wolverhampton. I was dating at the time. And as I approached Cosford on this particular night, something odd seemed to appear in the sky to my front right. It was a fairly clear night sky with the odd cloud here and there. But the first thing I noticed was a red light moving in the distance. My first reaction was maybe it was the air ambulance or the local police helicopter, or even just a beacon of some sort. But the more I watched it, the more odd it just seemed. The light suddenly shot up several metres in the sky at speed, and then it just hovered for a short while, maybe 5 or 6 seconds, and then shot off horizontally, and then it disappeared. Then, strangely, it happened again, another 3 or 4 times, before I stopped noticing it. The more I thought about it, the more I began to realise that it wasn't from this world. Strange it seems, unless the RAF had developed a new secret flying machine capable of amazing feats of manoeuvrability, but I doubted that. The experience stuck in my mind, and during the course of the next few days I noticed that other sightings had been reported in the local media, strange flying objects and lights in the sky. And to be honest, I'm now convinced that what I saw that night was alien to this world.
The most dramatic sighting that night was here around the Royal Air Force Base of Shropshire in Shropshire. Multiple witnesses independently reported not just seeing lights, but a clearly structured black triangular craft which moved slowly overhead and then accelerated away at impossible speeds. Of all, the most compelling sightings was filed by the on-duty meteorological officer at the base. On March the 31st at approximately 2:40 a.m, he saw the object move slowly towards the base at an altitude of 400 to 500 feet. He said it moved very slowly, maybe 30 to 40 miles an hour. Then he heard this low frequency humming sound. He could feel the sound as well as hear it, like standing in front of a bass speaker. He saw this narrow beam of light firing down from the craft, and from this very slow speed the UFO accelerated away at the horizon in seconds. He described the speed as many times faster than any military jet. As an experienced officer of some 8 years, he knew he had to make inquiries into what he had just witnessed. So at approximately 3 a.m, he contacted Bristol Airport, who stated they'd seen the same kind of lights and a large black structured triangular object. He filed an official report as an unidentified flying object incident, and he also reported it to the West Mercia Police and the Staffordshire Police. My conclusion of the night of the 30th and the 31st of March 1993 is clear. That a UFO did invade British airspace above Shropshire, but do I think it was extraterrestrial? There's a good chance it was. But with the object coming in from the Atlantic to southern England, there's a chance it could also be the American TR-3B on training exercises over Britain. I know the British Ministry of Defence did make a phone call to the US Ministry of Defence and asked if they had any exercises over British airspace that night, but the answer came back no. Thanks for watching, Conspiracy Team.